Alright friends, welcome back to the Sawmill. It's Monday. As promised, we got this log on here today, guys, and this right here has an amazing story behind it. I've been waiting on this log for about 3 years to get my hands on it. I thought I lost it, but I actually was able to find it again. It's kind of crazy how this happened. So this is black walnut. It's 9 feet long. There's actually a top log to this as well. We'll do that maybe in the next video, depends on what's going on here this week. It's actually a crotch log. It's about 5 feet long, a little bit proud of 5 feet, and has about a 36-inch crotch at the top. It's going to be really nice as well. The diameter on both ends is around 24 inches. The large end facing away from you has a little bit of a butt swell coming out on the sides, which you don't really factor in on the diameter when you're measuring logs, because that would get trimmed off anyways. The pith is perfectly straight. It's 11 inches up from the bed, so we don't have to worry about that either. So this log is a very, very historic log. It's going to make it very valuable because of where it came from and the circumstances around it. In 2016, around the end of November, there was a very bad forest fire down in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. A lot of people lost their lives, a lot of people lost their homes. It was just a mess down there for a long time. And when you go down to Gatlinburg, you can still see signs of the forest on the sides of the Great Smoky Mountains where stuff got burned up and that hasn't replenished itself yet. Just a really bad situation right there. That was in November of 2016. So around January of 2017, I got a phone call from an owner of a hotel in Gatlinburg, and they told me I had a walnut tree for sale. They said the tree got damaged in the fire, the canopy got burned up a little, but the main reason it had to come down was to make way for the utility poles to come through there. And I wasn't in a real good position at that time to buy a walnut, and I didn't have really time as well to drive all the way down there and get it. So I passed his number on to a buddy of mine who's a log buyer, and he went ahead and bought that log and sent a truck down there to get it. I talked to him shortly after, and I always told him, I said, if I can ever get down there to your log yard, I want to buy that tree from you, maybe one day. And he said that was fine, and he put it aside for me. Well, a few months went by, and he actually left that logging company and went to work for another one. So naturally, I thought this log was gone forever. I made 2 or 3 trips down to that log yard where it was supposed to have been at, couldn't find it. I talked to the new forester that was working down there, and he had no knowledge about it or anything, so we pretty much thought this log was gone. The only thing I had was a picture of this log and a picture of the barcode on the front of it that he'd put on there whenever they cut it down and bought it, you know, and hauled it back to his yard. That's all I had, was just that picture. So fast forward to about, gosh, last maybe January or February, my buddy goes back to work for that company again, and this time he's at a different log yard. He's down in Morristown, Tennessee, working at a different log yard, and he's in a warehouse full of timber. They have this old warehouse. It's an old factory they bought down there, and they have a warehouse just full of logs in there. And he's in there going through his logs one day and doing inventory, and he comes across this thing, and he sends me a message right then and says, "You're not going to believe what I just found. The Gatlinburg walnut is intact in a warehouse down here in Morristown." I just couldn't believe it. That's only about 45 minutes down the road. So I hop in the truck the first opportunity I have. Me and Bruno take the trailer, we run down there, and we fetch this thing as fast as we can. And I'm just tickled to death, guys. I'm able to get my hands on this log. It's been a long time coming. It's been on the ground for over 3 years, but with walnut, that's not a big deal. And it was held inside of a warehouse, so it was out of the weather on top of that, so it should be nice and solid. When I cut off the end of it to make way for the crotch log that we'll do in the next video maybe, I did check out the end grain right here, and it's nice and solid. There's no signs of rot or nothing like that. There's no end checking that's really bad. I put some more anchor seal on it. There's no signs of metal. This is going to be a really good log, guys. It should produce some really nice boards. We're going to cut these at 6/4. So I'm going to try to keep these as wide as I can and just barely skim off the side right here. I want as limited amount of waste as possible with this log. So go ahead and hit the pause button, go grab yourself a cup of coffee, because this is going to get good, guys. I'm telling you, this is going to be a phenomenal log right here. The story behind it makes it 10 times better than just a walnut log. I can't tell you how happy I am it's here today, I'm telling you. So let's get going, guys. Thanks for watching, everybody. Appreciate everybody on Patreon for supporting the channel. And for all you subscribers, thanks for hanging out with me today, and hit that like button as well when you go grab your coffee. It helps out the channel here. So let's get going. Alright friends, this is what we got right here. I got it squared up. I'm going to leave it turned this way. We'll get 18-inch wide boards that way. That's pretty good right there. It's premium walnut. Anything over 12 inches wide on black walnut is considered premium, so we're good right there. Here's two things we have to watch for. I'm going to go ahead and flip this over 180 and start from the bottom right here. This will be on the top in just a second. I got one check right here to deal with, but we should be okay. In my experience, a check like this usually doesn't go in very far. Famous last words, it'll probably go in half through the log, but I think we'll be okay. Now it's going to leave us with this bottom piece right here, and it's got something kind of nasty in it we're going to watch out for. We got some wind shake right here. You can see it's not like a regular check. It comes out from the pith. It goes in a circle right there, kinda, and your grain will separate on you, and it can really get nasty if it goes in really deep. And my experience is wind shake could go in 3 inches or 3 foot. It's hard to tell until you start opening up the timber. But we'll go ahead and focus on this bottom right here first. That's my best face right there on the bottom as well. That's really phenomenal. And we should get some really nice 6/4 18-inch wide boards right here. Then we turn it over and get to this top. We'll have to see what happens here. Hopefully this shake is not too bad. If it is bad, we're still going to be left with, you know, 10 inches right there of good solid until we start getting into this mess. And if it goes in real deep, I may turn this up on its side and do something else. We'll have to play it by ear, guys, and see what happens. So two things to point out here, guys, when we get going. Number one, there's no metal in this tree so far. I was really expecting maybe to hit a nail or two based on the location of this tree being in the parking lot of a hotel. You know, people nail up signs and stuff all the time in commercial places like that. And so far, we're okay. And the second thing is, this timber is phenomenal so far. There's no major defects that I'm seeing other than this shake right here. The boards are nice and clear. There's no knots or nothing showing up. It's almost like a veneer log. This is just really nice, guys. I'm really happy so far. So let's get the sawmill cranked back up and get going and see how this goes. I'm really hoping for some nice, perfectly clear boards here on this bottom. We'll flip it over and see how it goes.
Not without a fight.